back with more of The Morning Show. Here's Larry and Kylie.
With 33 million people infected with HIV worldwide and 15 million children orphaned as a result of AIDS, gee, the numbers are just staggering, aren't they? There's no question that more needs to be done in educating about the dangers of the virus and the deadly syndrome it can become.
Princess Kazune Zulu is a 1 in 33 million woman. This courageous HIV-positive Zambian is on a mission to stop the spread of HIV. It's a plight that's taken her all the way from rural Africa to the White House.
She's the real-life warrior princess.
History will ask us, what did you do?
Fighting a war on poverty and disease.
Already over 25 million people have already died. That's a big number.
Princess Kazune Zulu was born in Zambia and at 21 discovered she was HIV positive. But she refuses to be beaten by the virus, which has already claimed the lives of her mother, father and 2 siblings. Now she's campaigning for awareness about the infection, which affects 33 million people across the globe.
I will use my life, I'll dedicate my life to becoming a voice for those affected and infected with HIV and AIDS.
Meeting with the world's power brokers in her quest to make a difference, and teaming up with Aussie mum Belinda Collins, co-authoring a book and embarking on a joint journey as HIV/AIDS advocates, educators and activists. Together they're breaking the silence and stigma of what it means to be infected with this potentially deadly virus.
And Princess Kazune Zulu and co-author Belinda Collins are with us now. Ladies, thanks for joining us. Nice to see you both. Princess, interestingly enough, you talk about your HIV diagnosis as somewhat of a blessing. Why is that? How do you arrive at that conclusion?
Yeah, because in 1997, first of all, Larry, thank you for having us on the show, Kyle. I was told I'll only live for 6 months, and it's very much understandable from the doctor's point of view. Very few people had access to treatment in Zambia. You were talking of many people couldn't afford their 1,000 drugs. And I thought for me, I wanted to every day to count, to become an advocate for those living with HIV, but also to do something about preventing the HIV and AIDS virus. And little did I know that I'll go from just being this one of the 30 million, at that time actually it was 42 million people with AIDS in a rural Zambia, to becoming one of the world leaders on HIV and AIDS. So I have seen it being a blessing in disguise, so to speak, because of the power that it has brought for me to speak on behalf of the voiceless.
And Belinda, how did you become involved?
I first met Princess in 2002 when I worked with World Vision, and as you were going through the numbers before, Larry, they don't make a lot of sense and you don't want them to. And I felt like in Australia, for us to really get a sense of what the HIV epidemic was like, we needed to meet somebody affected. At that time, very few people would admit to being HIV positive, except I found one girl who was not only admitting to being HIV positive, but on a one-woman mission to jump up and down and warn her people. And I invited her to come to Australia, and that was the start of the most amazing journey for us.
Yeah, times they are changing, but Princess, do you find there's still a stigma surrounding HIV and AIDS nowadays?
I think there still is, and that's why Belinda and I takes the time to educate people. I was privileged to go back and testify at the Capitol Hill, which led to $51 billion being passed for malaria, tuberculosis, and HIV and AIDS. But I think also the landscape is changing, because now people in Zambia can test, and they can have a reason to feel there's no need to be ashamed, and we are seeing that the stigmas are breaking. But I think in countries like Australia and other places, HIV is still a foreign issue. So how do we personalize it? It has become our reason to live and to advocate on it.
Yeah, no doubt you're doing some amazing work. How does this fit in with your role as a mum? Because you're a mum and a princess. How does one juggle being a princess and an AIDS?
I've always thought that Kylie was a mum and a princess, but now we've got a real mum and a princess.
There you go. You know, it is a wonderful life in a way. I was telling Belinda, had son, Sammy is my godson, and she said, oh, we wanted to give you quiet time here this morning. I said, you know, I wish I had that quiet life. I don't. But I also realize that I've been privileged. On today's International Women's Day, we are celebrating 100 years of women really having so much success, even in countries like Australia, But when I think of the women in rural Zambia, when I think of the orphans and vulnerable children, especially the girls, there's so much needs to be done. And for me, it's worth giving up all I can, being on your show and wherever we can, just to bring the voices of the voiceless, should I say, to be counted.
Belinda, clearly in concert, you two are changing lives, but how has it changed your life and the life of your family being involved and being so intimate with what's going on here?
Look, from the first time I travelled to Zambia and had an opportunity to meet some of the 1 in 3 children who were orphaned by AIDS, and a lot of them living on their own, it's made me realise every day how blessed I am to be born in a country like Australia with a healthy family, a right to a good education, a right to a great career. We really are in the luckiest 1% of people in the world, and that's something that I am forever grateful for. And in meeting Princess, I realised if someone who's an orphan from one of the poorest countries in the world, who didn't have a chance to finish her education, can get out there and fight for, as we call them, the people who don't have a chance to use their voice, then I need to get out there and do the same.
Okay, it's an important message. Thank you so much for coming and sharing today. You have written a book called Warrior Princess, which is about...
And we'd love to give you both a copy to say Happy International Women's Day, Kylie and Larry.
Grab that off you. Thank you so much. Princess and Belinda's book, Warrior Princess, is out now.
From 2 TV princesses to a real princess.
There you go.
Still to come for you, fed up with being ignored? Well, the female bottle shop customer who decided to